So if you look at what we do, we can look at the three pillars of IATA. Firstly is advocacy, right? What we do to educate, to share best practices, to present the views of the industry. For example, the discussion about fares, that airlines don't actually keep all the money that they charge the passengers. We are helping other service providers to collect. So that is something that a lot of passengers are not aware of, and the mindset needs to change, right? The other thing that we do is on standard setting. For example, for those of us old enough to remember the paper ticket, right? The one with the red. Anyone remember the paper ticket? Okay, we are old, huh? I still remember. But we don't have that now. So that is one of the examples that the industry has moved forward with the help of IATA, bringing together all the industry partners. So it's not just IATA doing it. Regulators needs to be part of it, right? The government needs to be part of it. Airlines need to be part of it. And of course, a very hot topic in the last few years is environment. What is aviation doing to offset the carbon emission, right, up to 2050? So we heard about the net zero commitment, the different pathways to net zero. SAF is one of it, technology is one of it, aircraft technology, you have hydrogen, so many different ways. But how do we find a more effective and cost affordable pathway, or few pathways, that needs to be supported by policy changes from the government, by funding and subsidies from the government? Because if not, all of these have to be paid by passengers, right? And it's simply not sustainable in the long term. The recovery of Indonesia, especially for international, was the highest, yeah, among the Southeast Asian countries. And it's a testament to the efforts the governments have done with partnership with the airlines and the airports community. Whereas in some other countries, we see that because of the lack of support, lack of coordination, the recovery has been very slow. The good news, we are going to see growth in aviation traffic, passenger numbers. And so in Asia Pacific, it's important to recognize that this part of the world will cater to more than half of the 4 billion additional passengers that we expect in the next 20 years. So you can just imagine the growth potential in this part of the world, which is a positive news. But the challenge would be, how do we prepare in advance the capacity to deliver? For example, airport. The airlines, we have heard about aircraft orders. The airlines are doing all they can to prepare. Airspace. Can it cater to increased traffic? 4.6% annual growth rate is the highest among all the regions. So it's good news for all of us here. There's work to be done, but it's bad news if we don't do our job well together. So the demand growth is there, but we have a lot of future challenges, current challenges in fact. Geopolitical threats, instability, economic uncertainty, cost escalations. Fuel is one of it, which is about 30 to 40% of the operating costs of the airline. And infrastructure constraint is one. Do we have the required capacity to cater to the growth? And can we do it at an affordable manner? Right? You can't just increase capacity and then increase costs. Your unit cost should drop because it should be more efficient since you have more passengers. Issue like that. Human capital. We can't train well-qualified aviation professionals fast enough. And aviation might not be as attractive as before. So it's very hard to attract the next generation. I think one key challenge is pilot recruitment. It's expensive to start with, to get the training, to get the license. I'm not sure if you know, Captain Daniel, you have challenges in hiring pilots, perhaps engineers, but ground staff, that's a big issue in a lot of countries. Because why do I work in a ground operations environment, under the sun, under the rain, while I can work in a bank, for example? So a lot of people are not attracted. So we need to redesign our approach to ensure that aviation continues to be attractive. And lastly, we found that there's lack of consultation, lack of coordination in an integrated manner. So it's important for us to be on the same page, that decision making are done in an inclusive manner. So I call this inclusive governance. We are in this together, Pak. Yeah? So we need to make decisions together. Even though it's a regulator is consulting. What's your opinion? These are the options. So that will be something that we would encourage to be strengthened going forward.